In 1965, Kenya suffered a maize shortage caused in part by failed rains. To offset the shortfall, the government decided to import 250,000 bags of maize through the Maize Marketing Board. The board was overseen by the Ministry of Cooperatives and Marketing, headed by independence luminary Paul Ngei. When the maize shortage persisted, President Jomo Kenyatta formed a commission of inquiry chaired by High Court Judge Chanan Singh to investigate the matter. The report of the Maize Commission of Inquiry found that Ngei's wife, Emma, had been buying maize directly from farmers, contrary to the law. Ngei's wife, through her business, Uhuru Millers, had also received 2,000 bags of maize from the board without paying for it. Ngei was suspended from office but later found his way back into government after Parliament passed a constitutional amendment that gave the president the power to pardon him. The Ngei maize scandal was the first of many, each following the same script, each robbing the country of billions. Since then, each regime has had its defining scandals.
There is a saying that normally says you can't have an hyena to guard your flock. How do you expect someone who is allegedly or has been participating in corrupt deals to go there and start looking at other corrupt people?
The Goldenberg scandal of the early 90s was reported to have cost the country 158.3 billion shillings. Businessman Kamlesh Patni, who was charged in connection with the scheme, was acquitted of all charges in 2013 and has since been linked to another gold racket in Zimbabwe. The Anglo leasing scandal took the country by storm in 2004, muddying President Mwai Kibaki's anti-graft legacy. The Ministry of Home Affairs, headed by former Vice President Mudi Awori, had contracted Anglo Leasing Finance, a British shell company, to supply a passport printing system in a closed tender that saw the country lose 3.5 billion shillings. The case ended after 4 individuals, including former Treasury PS Joseph Magari, were acquitted in July this year. The Uhuru Kenyatta regime was rocked by a series of scandals, the most prominent of which was the 63 billion shilling Aror and Kimwarer Dam scandal, in which tenders for the 2 projects were allegedly awarded irregularly to Italian firm CMC di Ravenna. Central Bank Governor Kamau Thuge, who was the Treasury PS at the time, was charged but later became a state witness. Former Treasury CS Henry Rotich is still facing charges of abuse of office, but many fear the case against him may fail after the prosecution failed to question witnesses summoned to court. 60 years later, Kenya is back to where it began. The country now ranks 123rd among 180 countries in the Corruption Perception Index, where the country ranked first is perceived to have the most honest public sector. Currently, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations is looking into allegations that prices of imported edible oils procured through a 16.5 billion shilling tender awarded by the Kenya National Trading Corporation in November 2022 were inflated.
Our quarterly report have got big cases, and quite a number of big cases. Some of them is about telecom, other is about the issue of Ronald Ngala College, which is stuck in Vipingo, and we have one that deals with about the senator in Uasin Gishu, where the famous Finland scandal. So for the senator, we have recommended him to be charged, and we are in the process. I think we got a go-ahead to charge him.
The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission estimates that Kenya loses more than 600 billion shillings annually to corruption. But over the last 5 years, the EACC has recovered only 23 billion shillings. Most of the high-profile individuals implicated in these scandals have found their way back into government after their cases were dropped. But the EACC denies that the fight against corruption has been politicized or ethnicized.
We have 47 county governments. There's a lot of corruption that has gone into the county. So it is suddenly expected that when you are doing corruption investigations, most likely you'll find most of them happening in the county government, and therefore the governors as heads of the counties are going to be the ones to respond to those questions. So there's no targeting of any group or any individuals or any community. we follow corruption wherever it is.
Lack of political goodwill has also been blamed for the laxity towards corruption, while the judiciary has been accused of bungling cases. The EACC, however, argues that prosecutorial powers would help expedite corruption cases and prevent political interference.
The Economics and Crimes Act, I wanted to water down that one. But again, thank God, we hope that it's not going to see the light of the day. EACC need to be given directly supported in terms of resource, because that is what is lacking. Yes, they may have the officers, few officers to investigate, but again, do they have the resources to do thorough investigation? Do they have the capacity in terms of human resource, even the finances to do that thorough investigation? And then they can be supported. Once this report has come out, how can they coordinate together with another institution who is supposed now to carry on, like judiciary? They need to, when the court, the case has gone to court, the judiciary also needs to stamp their feet and say, yes, the evidence that is put here is very clear, and we will not give you that amnesty that you need to go and vie.
Meanwhile, Kenyans continue to bear the brunt of corruption as public services battle against shortage of funds and mismanagement. Muriel Adhiambo, K24 TV.